Patria Private Equity Trust, or PPET for short, is a UK investment trust listed on the London Stock Exchange and is on the FTSE 250. And at the most basic level, it provides diversified access to a portfolio of private companies, principally in Europe, but also in the US. And it does that through making commitments to private equity funds, but also directly investing in those private companies alongside the lead investor. The trust has been around for over 2 decades. It launched in 2001 and was previously known as Aberdeen Private Equity Opportunities, and prior to that, Standard Life Private Equity. It's about 1.2 billion in size in terms of net assets and has delivered an annualized NAV total return over the last 10 years of just over 15%. And it also pays a quarterly dividend, which has grown every year since 2011. And the board has committed to maintain the value of the dividend in real terms going forward. Private equity has been an asset class that's been dominated by large institutional investors. And so PPET aims to open it up for investors of all types, including retail investors. And our aim as a manager is to create a portfolio alongside some of the best private equity firms for the investors. Many private equity trusts have a strong US element to it because it's the largest market. But Europe's interesting because it's a heterogeneous market. It's got different languages, cultures, regulation, legislation, and so it's got barriers to entry. It's very hard to successfully do deals without having people on the ground, and so that means the best private equity firms are often quite hard to access in Europe. Europe's also interesting because it's a leader in terms of ESG and responsible investment, and that's what we see in our portfolio of private equity investments. PPET is also focused predominantly on the mid-market in private equity. So by mid-market, we mean companies with an enterprise value between 100 million and $1 billion at entry. And we think that's really interesting because those businesses are typically growing, cash generative, profitable, but still have a lot of potential to grow with a private equity partner. PPET partners with around 15 core private equity manager relationships. In the market, there's around 15,000 private equity firms globally, so it's a very small part of the asset class. And therefore, as we consider them some of the best performers, they're highly sought after in the market with a lot of demand from investors to gain access to their funds. So PPET provides that to investors of all types and sizes. And specifically what we're looking for are managers with real sector expertise and can create value in their underlying portfolio companies over and above company management's plan. If we look at our own portfolio, we've got technology experts such as HG and OnePeak and Vitruvian, healthcare experts like Nordic Capital, Archimed, Windrose. We've got industrial experts like Triton and Altor and Invest Industrial, and consumer experts like PEI and Seidler. So it's a portfolio of private equity firms that really have trade buyer levels of expertise. And we like to partner with them through their funds, but also directly alongside them in investing into private companies. Well, we believe that private equity should be a part of any investment portfolio due to its strong returns and diversification benefits. The asset class has been dominated by large institutional investors, and so we believe in opening that asset class up to investors of all shapes and sizes. Furthermore, companies are staying private for longer and have been for some time, and we don't expect that trend to stop anytime soon. At the same time, the number of listed companies is falling year on year and has been for decades. So to get access to these market leaders in the private markets, there really isn't any other way than investing into private equity. Private equity investment trusts have been around for decades now and have long demonstrable track records, which gives peace of mind to investors. And we think that the closed-ended structure of an investment trust is perfect for holding private investments because you don't have the pressure of selling due to redemptions. There's a fixed number of shares. And so that promotes holding those assets for longer, which is the way that we think anyone should approach private equity investing. But on the other side, people can trade in and out of private equity investment trusts, much like any other listed stock. So that's the beauty of the model, that on the one hand, the assets can be held for longer and more securely, but on the other hand, you can trade in and out as and when you wish.